We're live.
We're live. Hi, welcome to Raindance. My name is Barb Mooney. I'm the massage therapist here and kind of a jack of all trades. Tonight we have a special guest. I'm so excited about this. Her name is Dawn Santoriello. She told me about writing this book about the law of attraction and putting out there, what you put out there is what you're going to get back. And she knows how to do this with money. And I'm so thrilled and happy that she's my neighbor as well. She grew up in Brooklyn and Long Island, and I'm from Staten Island. So, welcome, Dawn.
Thank you, everybody. I'm so happy to be here. So thank you for all attending, and for all of you watching out there. Sorry, we had some technical difficulties. I'm having technical difficulties even speaking. So we're live streaming. Sorry, I wasn't on the original one, so maybe you were able to go down and look at the video there. So tonight, Barb, do you want to go over my bio?
Okay, if you want me to do that,
So I guess we could just read the bio so people know a little bit about me.
Sure. Okay. Dawn Santoriello, CFP, is the founder and CEO of DS Financial Strategies, a fee-based financial planning firm that develops customized plans designed to maximize the efficiency of your money. Born in Brooklyn, New York, and raised in Long Island, Dawn graduated from Adelphi University with a BS in finance. She currently lives in King of Prussia. And away from the office, you can find Dawn living true to her wellness and wealth lifestyle by hiking, kayaking, mountain biking, and meditating. Dawn was the former host of Conquer Your Finances, Conquer Your Life on RBN TV. She has been published in numerous blogs and journals, including Wealth Planning Advisor and Let's Talk Philadelphia, and has been featured in Forbes, Investment Advisor, Market Watch, and the Philadelphia Inquirer. Be sure to check out Dawn's YouTube page, DS Financial Strategies for Financial Fridays with Dawn. For more information or to get in touch with Dawn, please visit www.dsfinancialstrategies.com.
So everybody, I was born with a plastic spoon, not a silver spoon. So basically, I'm going to give you a little journey of where I started. Like Barb said, I was born in Brooklyn, and my parents were drug addicts, alcoholics, and it turns out who I thought my dad wasn't even my dad. And I didn't find that out until last December. So, yeah, and we were so poor. I had a black hole in my tooth, so thank God it was a baby tooth. And then me and my sister Michelle, we were in and out of foster homes, and it was like terrible. I remember one time we got taken away. We went to this family in Queens, I think it was, and they segregated us. We had to go in the kitchen while they were all in the dining room having a family dinner. We were in there eating like hot dogs, and then we couldn't even drink our drink until we finished our hot dogs. Then we even had to sleep, like, I think I was sleeping in the crib, and I was like 3 or something. I was like, I should be in a little bed. Then we got taken out of there. So then another foster family comes in, and they remind me of like Archie Bunker. Like, who was that? Meathead, and then what was her name? Gloria, the blonde chick. And me and my sister were hiding in the bedroom, screaming, crying, I don't want to go, Grandma. I don't want to go. I don't want to go. And then luckily, somehow we didn't have to go there. But then we were fortunate, and we found our adopted parents. And that's why I dedicated the book to them too, because without them, I wouldn't be standing here. I might be some crack whore or something on the streets. Hopefully not, but you never know what could have happened. So once we got adopted, like I always had to strive, like once you're in that trauma, as you all know, you become like, I gotta be perfect. I gotta make sure people like me, and I gotta be the best that I can be. And I kind of learned early on, it's like, I'm a survivor. If I don't do anything, no one's gonna take care of me. So I just had that drive in me from the beginning. And I knew, like, hey, whatever I do, I'm going to be the best at what I do. And so I went on in school. I wasn't happy if I just got A's. No, I had to be the best in the class. So I turned into a little geek. And all that drive, it just kept me going. Then I tried to be an actress and a model. That didn't work out so well. So I was like, okay, well, what else do I want to do? And then I was like, finances come easy. So I got into that field, studied, graduated early. Truthfully, so I could just go on auditions. I wanted to get rid of school, get that as my backup, and try to make it as a star. But that didn't happen. And I couldn't understand because inside, I'm sure you all feel like that burning passion. And you're like, I know I'm supposed to be doing this. I'm supposed to be famous. I'm supposed to change the world. And apparently that's happened in a different way. And then I go on, I find about a job at MetLife. I'm like, oh, you can make your own hours. And I'm like, oh, that sounds cool. I can go on auditions, do my thing, and do this. And then I got involved in that. And I'm like, I I love this job. I'm like, we're sitting here, we're changing people's lives. I'm like, oh my God, this is the coolest thing ever. I can make my own schedule so I could do everything. So then I learned more about the insurance industry, went on, and I was like, you know what? We're really just selling life insurance. I'm like, there's gotta be more. I'm like, I want to really help people, show them how to manage their money, make budgets, show them how to invest. So I got those licenses, started doing that, and then eventually moved around in different companies, and actually led to me founding my own company. And I never wanted my own company. I was like, I'm never running my business. I don't want to deal with that. And then I was like, no, I'm never not going to have my own business. So then I just opened up my business where I didn't know anybody. I moved to Scranton, knew nobody except for my ex-fiance and 2 brothers, who they didn't become clients right away. Because when you get into this field, people are like, what do you know? We're not going to trust you with our money. Even though I had a finance degree, you have to prove yourself that you're going to be around, because what is it, like 90% of people fail within the first 5 years. So I made it more difficult by moving to an area where I didn't have a natural market. And then, I'm happy eventually through like the prayer manifestation, things just kind of came to me. I didn't know anything about running a business, what to do, how to set it up. And even writing this book, I had no idea how to write a book. And people just came into my life. I just kept manifesting. And now I'm so happy. I'm living my dream life. But it wasn't always that way. Like I share in the book, there was a time I only had $200 to my name, and I couldn't even get out of a parking garage. So I'm sitting there. There's no attendee. So I'm sitting there honking on the horn, and now cars are lining up behind me. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, no. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. And then finally, after like 5 long minutes, a guard came out and he just let me out. I quickly sped off and went home. And I started crying. I was like, I just lost it. I was like, what the hell is going on? I'm like, I'm a financial planner. I know what to do with money. I'm like, my clients are making money. Why am I so broke? And then it hit me. I was like, I'm freaking blocked. I'm spiritually blocked around money. And it doesn't matter that I know what to do with it. Like because I'm stuck in that, oh my God, I'm getting chills. I was stuck in scarcity. So that's what I kept attracting. It's like what you put out there. And oh my God, well,
I got you too. The angels are all over the place.
Yeah. So, and I was just like, okay, and I just stopped and I prayed, I'm like, please God, help me out. And then the next part of the law of attraction is you can't just like, oh yeah, but I want this to happen. I did what it has to take. I like dehumiliated myself, I guess. I went to work at a bar because I was like, okay, I need to make money. Bartenders make a lot of money. But then I'm like, wait, I'm a financial planner, so I can't go to a good bar because what if clients see me, they don't want to work with me.
Oh, wow.
So I'm like, okay, I got to go to a bar where nobody knows me. So it was like this seedy corner bar in I don't know if you know Scranton area. There's a town called Troop. So it's a corner bar. The owner allegedly raped somebody in the background. He had like a bed. I was like, oh. So my friend would come every night I was closing just to make sure like I was okay. But it was like, talk about like soul sucking. I don't know how I lasted 3 months, but I did. And then I was like, I quit. So I can't take it anymore. I'm like, I am done. My soul just can't handle it. And there was nights on Sunday night I would go in and $36. I'm like, how has my life become? I'm like, what is going on, God? Help me out here. And then at the same time, there was this marketer that kept calling me, and I kept ignoring him because I'm like, okay, he just wants to sell me newsletters. I don't have any money. I'm not spending any money. And then by accident, one day I picked up the phone, and he's like, hey, Dawn. He's like, this is Rick. I'm like, Rick? He's like, yeah. I'm like, I don't want to buy any newsletters. He's like, newsletters? What are you talking about? I'm like, oh, isn't that why you're calling? You're trying to sell me something. He's like, no. He's like, I work with advisors like yourself, helping you develop leads and helping you with cases. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, sure. What do you have for me? He's like, well, I have this conference that's coming up. I'm like, listen, I don't have any money. He's like, no, don't worry. We're sending your full expenses paid. I was like, oh, okay. So that was going to happen in September. This was in June. So then July, I think it was in July. Yeah, July came along. And then I'm driving home down my street, and I'm not good with like judging space when there's a car there. So I smash my car, the whole side. It's crushed. I was like, oh shit. And then I did something stupid. Before this, I had dropped collisions. There was like 140 something thousand miles on it. I'm like, I don't need that. And then the next day, of course, I had to go see a client at this country club. So I was like, well, I'm going to go park all the way over here in the end, and no one's going to see me. He comes in. He's like, Dawn, what happened to your car? I'm like, no way. I'm like, really? I'm like, oh yeah, that happened yesterday. I'm like, I gotta get that fixed. And I went home after that. I'm like, God, please, can you just total my car? Can you do something? Help me out here. So then I go to the next day. It was Friday, so I'm in my yoga class. So I'm nice and calm. You all know I'm very, very what's the word? Passionate and full of energy. So I'm just calm in yoga. And this guy comes, knocks on the door. He's like, who has the white car out here? They might want to come out here. I'm like, that's me. So I go out and I'm like, oh my God, my car is smushed up against the pole. The tires are bent in. The spear is crushed. I'm like, I started freaking out. I'm like, okay, oh no. I'm like, oh my God. I go sit down. I'm like, wait a second. I kind of asked for this. And I'm like,
Yep.
okay. And I'm like, you know what? You don't really need a car because you're going to the conference this weekend. So you'll be okay. And so then my friend after class is like, you know what? Let's just go look at some cars. So we went to look at Hondas. And then I was like, okay, well, now we know the general idea. I'm like, I can't deal with this now, and I don't need a car. They're going to give me a rental car, so I'm going to go to the conference. Well, I went to that conference, and I felt like a queen. Like, literally, they rolled out the red carpet for us. We had a limo pick us up. That was all paid for. They gave us everything, all expenses paid. I was like, this is really nice. But what was even better is that I learned this awesome technique that I was able to help clients with, and that month I made $80,000, and at the end of the year I earned over 6 figures. So from $200 to my name, stuck in a parking lot, to transform to having my first over 6 figures here. I was like, oh my God, what did I do to do this? I manifested it. It's in my vision board. I prayed. I did everything I could, and I did the hard work, because that's the other thing that the law of attraction asks for. You gotta put in the effort. I didn't want to go, oh, I forgot to add this. I even helped my neighbor do manual labor. I was like scrubbing paint off the cabinets so he could repaint them, digging like ditches for him for something. I was like, what is going on? It was just like crazy. And then so today it's like, oh my God, I'm driving my dream car. I'm like, things are amazing that are happening. I hit a bestseller on the first day of my launch, and I was like, God, and it's just so it's like anybody could do this. If I did, I'm not special. I'm just an ordinary girl from Brooklyn, kind of from the, I don't know, I want to be politically correct. We were poor, and then if I can make it happen, anybody can. You just need to have the drive, have the techniques, and all that. Which brings me to my book. So I kind of share that story in the book. Here's another thing I forgot about that story with that Honda. So when I got back, my friend's like, let's go look at Acuras. I'm like, I can't afford an Acura. I'm like, I got to stick with the Honda. He's like, let's just go look. And I actually got a fully loaded Acura. It's cheaper than I was going to get the Honda for. I'm like, so how many of you guys have done that? Like, it's like, oh, I can't afford that. So you're blocking yourself again, like from being in that scarcity. So you got to like step away from that, clear those money blocks. And there's 5 that I identified, which are in the book. So we can kind of take a look at those now. So let me ask some questions. So how many of you say, I don't like to take time for myself, because if I do that, I'm being selfish? Does anybody feel that way?
No, I'm the opposite.
I'm the opposite.
Okay.
I feel like I deserve it all.
Okay, so that's good.
But COVID helped with that.
Yeah. And then do you ever feel like I sometimes give more money than I could afford for
That's
like
me.
weddings, birthdays?
Oh, yes, that's 100%.
Okay. Or do you feel like you show your love by giving gifts or money?
Oh, that's 100% me. All the time.
And how about like I don't feel worthy unless I'm doing things for other people?
That's not
Me, a little bit.
Okay.
I'm getting away from
And then anything extra I have, I give to my kids or loved ones because they
Oh,
deserve
that's
it
me.
more.
Oh, I don't know about more, but
Yeah.
yeah, probably more.
Yeah.
I guess more if I'm not giving.
And enjoyable to just begin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it helps. And then when you give more, like you're open to abundance, you receive more. And then finally, how do you feel like I don't like spending money on myself?
That's probably me.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like some of the things you identified, they're true, but I do it without defining the validity of myself with it. Like my self-worth is not being defined because I've chosen to be generous.
Mhm.
It's just what I wanted. So, but I used to be more codependent with that.
Yeah, so you might be coming out of this block.
Yeah.
So anyone who's answered like yes to all this, basically the first block is prioritizing the needs of others over your own.
Right.
So then in the book I go through 4 others, and I actually developed a releasing the 5 biggest money blocks deep dive session, which actually goes further in. We're going to learn what is your block, which is your biggest block. I have this whole quiz I did. So you'll find out. Then I have a whole workbook that goes with it. We work through it, and then we use this pretty amazing manifestation technique to get rid of that. So once it's gone, and if it comes back, we still have the technique, so we know how to get rid of it. Because I have blocks come back all the time, and I'm like, okay, get out of that mode. And you think I wrote the book on it, but I'm just human. We all have different layers and different things. But the biggest thing, like a game changer too, which I don't think I talked about it in the book though, was COVID. That changed my life. As soon as COVID hit, this is ironic. I lost all fear. I was out of scarcity mode. I was like, I'm not worried about money. And I would think, what the hell? Like, this is the complete opposite, but I just let it go. So I'm like, okay, well, everybody else is in the same boat, so does it really matter?
Right. It's like almost your whole value system changed because just being alive and having our health.
Yeah,
I think,
exactly.
yeah.
And it's like, you're going to be okay, like, you know? And then what I did was like, I actually had a first live event I was going to do, and then that got canceled. So then it's like, okay, well, let's go Zoom it, do it on Zoom. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to develop, I combined, because most of you know, I'm a certified financial planner. So I'm the first one leading the way by combining my woo-woo side and this. So this is like uncharted territory. And it was scary as hell. I was like, my intuitive, she told me, she said, Dawn, you're going to be doing this, writing a book on spirituality and money. And I was like, hell no, I'm not doing it. It's not going to happen. And it happened. Yeah. And then COVID, and then I got confirmation why this was important, because when I did my first workshop on my own, releasing 5 biggest money blocks, somebody actually took me up on my offer. They called me and they became a client. And I'm like, really? I'm like, why did you want to work with me? Like, because your story. I'm like I totally identify. I'm like, wait a second. I'm like, all I had to do all these years was share my story. Here I am trying to be, I'm a financial swing coach. Yeah. And like, I'm doing all this stuff. I'm like, had this circle of wealth thing, which I love you, Don Bland. But for me, it just wasn't working. I was being somebody else, trying to use their system. So when I finally let that all go, I was like, okay, this is me. I am a certified financial planner. Yes, I'm smart and I'm woo-woo, and I bring it together. And here we are. So that's what I want people to know too. It's like, just embrace who you are, because your story is your glory. So any type of business you have, just be you, because no one can duplicate that. So you have no competition. That's the one thing I knew in this whole business. Like, you think there's millions of financial planners. I'm like, no, I don't have competition, because I'm me. I'm like, I love my people. Like, I'm helping some woman now prevent her from becoming homeless, way out of my job scope. So, and she's just like, Dawn, you're like an angel. You're an angel sent to me. I'm like, I don't know that, but I'm like, I'm just trying to help you do my job. And just help people. Like, I love people so much. So, and that's why I also wanted to write the book, because when you get to finances, there's way too much conflicting information. So I keep it simple in this book. It's like, this is what you need to know when it comes to investing. This is how you get out of debt. This is how you build a spending plan. Here's how to invest for the long-term future and minimize taxes. So what's great is, like, no matter where you are in life, this covers all levels. Like, someone who's like me, couldn't get out of that parking garage, to someone who's super wealthy who needs to help reduce taxes in a way to build their tax shelter. So obviously, I was very happy about how that all developed. So yeah, there's some great tips in here. So I'm gonna open it up first. Does anybody have any questions or anything?
Great story.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Thanks.
It's awesome. As I read the book, I recognized a lot of the blocks in myself and where I am now. And it's like, you need to help me get out of this.
And it's hard to see.
I do have a question.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking about this when in the early part of your story that you were sharing, I was kind of wondering if it was like your third eye connection. Like, how did you realize that you had money blocks in the first place?
Because I couldn't figure out what else was going on. I'm like, what the heck is happening? I'm like, I'm blocked. But then I'm like, I think I saw The Secret at that time. I did a vision board. I was doing manifestation techniques and just praying, and things were happening. I'm like, okay, so I guess it's just locked. So you have to just keep clearing. And there's always different levels. So I was always like searching, and finally I just.
But you're assuming it, or you're not assuming, you knew it was blocked because you weren't getting the money?
Yeah, because I was doing everything I knew how to do financially for my clients. I'm like, I don't understand. Like, why
are they rich and you're not?
Yeah, like, why are they making money? How come I'm not attracting new clients? It's because also too, because it was my beliefs. Part of it was like everything goes back to self-love. So it's like I probably didn't think I was worthy of attracting more clients, and because I'm so used to. Like, when you're in survival mode, that's what you know. So it's hard to step out and be like, okay, I'm not going to worry. If you're not worrying, what are you doing all the time? You're like, oh, I gotta worry because I know how to handle when I'm worrying. Now when you have all this free time and you're abundant, you're like, oh, like it's almost like you don't know what to do with yourself because it's out of your comfort zone. So I had to be like, okay, you know what? You get out of the comfort zone and just allow this to come. And when I saw those checks roll in, I was, oh my God, 80,000 in 1 month. People don't even make that in 1 year. I was like, holy cow, this is powerful.
Because you started your own business?
Well, no, that's because I basically, what that was is allowing that guy to come into my life and like help me. So
Okay.
that's another thing, asking for help and allowing help. Because I was like, no way, I got this. Nobody's going to help me. I'm going to do this on my own. And so, because I never could count on anybody based on my background, everyone leaves.
Yeah. So you didn't change any dynamics in your life when you were going
I
through
changed
that?
my thinking, yeah.
Just your
Just my
thinking, not like a new job or
No,
a new-
because I was never going to quit. I'm like, I'm never quitting this job. That's why I
Wow.
did the bartending, worked for my neighbor, because I was like, I always knew I was going to be successful. I just didn't know how to get there. But I was like, I'm not quitting. There's no way am I going to quit. And I just going and going, and then boom, the break. Oh my God, thank God. And then, yeah, and then I was brave. I moved 3 different times, too, to different locations where I knew nobody. So I made it happen again. So it's like, you just, yeah, you got to have that strong belief system. And I do fall back into scarcity because I'm human. But then I just pull myself out of it. It's like, no, you're not, you're going to be fine. So, and out of that too, I have that nice income property because that's where my money was getting drained too. Everything was going to fix that income property. Because that was a miracle too. I found this amazing house, and I'm not really good with vision on pitching how something can look. It was really cheap. It was like $64,000, and it was a duplex. So I was like, how did some person not scoff up this like great house? But it needed a lot of work. It was a dog, and I actually saw the vision. I'm like, no, I want this house. The girl's just like, I'm not going to show it to you. I'm like, I need to see this. I don't care if you're not working. Get me somebody because I'm looking at this house. Then I looked at it and I was like, okay, put the offer in. It got accepted. And I was like, oh my God. I'm like, now I'm always going to. Then finally, when I got it fixed up, I was living for free. I was actually profiting, living there and getting some extra money after all the expenses were covered. And then now that I moved, I've been out of there for like 6 years. I've been profitable ever since. I was like, okay, that revenue stream. So going through all that, then you have that stream of income. Then I made another business. I have that stream of income. So it's just, yeah, being open, saying yes to opportunities, knowing how to decipher which is good or not, what you got to go with, like feels good in your gut. And yeah, just changing that mindset because that's kind of what gets you.
That's the key.
That $60,000 house is probably $400,000 now. The
Well, it's
market
in
has
like
been
outside of
crazy.
Sprint, and it's like 100 and something, 160. I think
Well, the
it was.
market has gone
Yeah, but yeah,
crazy.
it's nuts. But it is like I bring in the mortgage is $251 with taxes. It's $531, and I bring in $1825. Now it's $510, and then up the rent.
Yeah, you and everybody else.
Yeah. Well, it's cheap. It's only $1,000 for a nice, gorgeous, beautiful place. But here, yeah, it would be like 2,000.
Rent's down up a little.
Yeah. Yep. So, any more questions or anything?
So how do we do this?
Well, what I'm going to do, I'm going to give you a thing to fill out. I also want to invite you guys. I'm doing a Money Blocks releasing your 5 biggest Money Blocks deep dive call program, a 3-hour program. It's actually going to be one on September 15th from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern time. So for those of you out there too, you can email me at dawn@dsfinancialstrategies.com or go to my website, dsfinancialstrategies.com. You can call my office at 215-660-0288. And what you're going to learn is, like I said, we're going to use that powerful quiz to find out, okay, what's your money block? What's your first biggest money block? What's your second money block? Then we're going to do that manifestation technique to clear that blockage. And then I'm going to give you a whole workbook so we can go over that together, learn about our money stories, where it comes from, and take action, rewrite that so we can walk out of there and be like, okay, I got this. And that day your life is going to change. And then if you sign up today, I'm going to also include my Releasing Your 5 Biggest Money Blocks Masterclass, which is a $997 value. And people who have attended this before my workshops, one lady, she received a $30,000 ghostwriting job after using this a technique that I taught in the class. Another one received an inheritance of $50,000 to pay off a credit card, and somebody else got $9,000 and maybe up for a promotion, which is nice. So the total investment is $797. And then if you just fill out the top, I will enter you in that raffle, and then we can check off. So, one for you.
I was hoping you could sign my book.
Yes, I will sign your book too. Do you guys all have pens?
They're right behind Deb.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Do we have any questions from anyone out there in the live stream?
No.
Okay. Well, I know you guys are out there. Hi, Shelly. I know you're out there watching. So thank you.
Is there anybody on?
Because the live stream got messed up, it
Well, it's on it's live stream. Yeah, but I guess it's not on connection. Oh, this.
Is it okay?
It's recorded. What do you mean? Oh, the class. No, I'm doing it. I'm going to be doing like them every so often. Oh, so bye everybody. Thank you for tuning in. And if you're catching this on the replay, feel free to reach out to me again. It's 215-660-0288 or go to my website, dsfinancialstrategies.com. Thank you very much. Are we off the air?
Yep, we're